In a distant corner of the Milky Way, the notorious alien commander Zaxxon stood on the bridge of his flagship, studying holographic projections of his latest target, Earth. Known throughout the galaxy as a brilliant tactician and ruthless conqueror, Zaxxon had subjugated countless worlds, and he was confident that the primitive humans would be no different. As his fleet approached Earth's orbit, Zaxxon's second-in-command informed him of an intriguing opportunity. "Sir, we've intercepted communications about a place called West Point. It appears to be a military academy where they train their future leaders." Zaxxon's eyes narrowed. "A military academy? How quaint. Let's pay them a visit, shall we? I want to see firsthand how these humans prepare for war." Zaxxon's arrival at West Point sent shockwaves through the academy. Cadets whispered excitedly among themselves, speculating about the alien commander's intentions and the advanced technology he possessed. Some were nervous, having heard rumors of Zaxxon's fearsome reputation, while others saw his visit as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to learn from a true master of interstellar warfare. The instructors, too, were on edge. They had trained generations of Earth's finest soldiers, but never before had they faced the scrutiny of an alien warlord. They knew that Zaxxon's assessment of their methods could have far-reaching consequences for humanity's standing in the galactic community. As Zaxxon strode through the academy grounds, his keen eyes took in every detail. He noted the precision of the cadets' drills, the gleaming modern facilities, and the air of discipline that permeated every aspect of life at West Point. Grudgingly, he had to admit that the humans seemed to take their military training seriously. The commandant, a seasoned veteran named General Hawkins, maintained a facade of calm confidence as he guided Zaxxon through the academy. He knew that the alien commander was not here merely to observe, but to judge humanity's worthiness as a potential ally or adversary. "As you can see, Commander Zaxxon," Hawkins said, gesturing to a group of cadets engaged in a complex tactical simulation, "our cadets are trained in the latest strategies and technologies. We believe in preparing them for any challenge they may face, whether on Earth or among the stars." Zaxxon nodded, his expression unreadable. "Indeed, General. But simulations and drills are one thing. True strength is forged in the crucible of real combat. I wonder how your cadets would fare against a genuine threat." Hawkins met Zaxxon's gaze unflinchingly. "I assure you, Commander, our cadets are ready for anything. They are the best and brightest of our world, and they will stop at nothing to defend Earth and its people." As the tour continued, Zaxxon found himself intrigued by the humans' determination and the depths of their commitment to their cause. He began to suspect that conquering Earth might not be as easy as he had initially believed. Little did he know that the true test of the cadets' mettle was yet to come, and that he would soon have a front-row seat to witness their valor in action. As Zaxxon continued his tour of West Point, he found himself drawn to the Academy's advanced training facilities. The commandant led him to a state-of-the-art command center, where a group of cadets were engaged in a complex wargame scenario. To Zaxxon's surprise, the cadets were not just simulating battles against human adversaries, but against alien forces as well. He watched in fascination as they employed sophisticated quantum computing algorithms to analyze the enemy's tactics and devise countermeasures in real time. One cadet, a brilliant young woman named Lieutenant Arya Novak, caught Zaxxon's attention. She was leading her team in a daring cyber attack against the simulated alien fleet, exploiting weaknesses in their communication networks to sow chaos and confusion. "Impressive," Zaxxon murmured, leaning closer to observe Novak's work. "Your cadets seem to have a knack for adapting to unconventional threats." General Hawkins nodded proudly. "Lieutenant Novak is one of our most promising students. She has a gift for thinking outside the box and finding creative solutions to complex problems." As the wargame reached its climax, Novak's team executed a series of bold maneuvers that left the simulated alien forces in disarray. Zaxxon found himself grudgingly admiring the cadets' ingenuity and their ability to work together seamlessly under pressure. "I must admit, General," Zaxxon said as the simulation ended, "your cadets have exceeded my expectations. Their grasp of advanced technology and their ability to adapt to new challenges is truly remarkable." Hawkins smiled, a hint of pride in his eyes. "Thank you, Commander. We believe that the key to success in any conflict is the ability to innovate and evolve faster than your opponent. Our cadets are trained to be agile thinkers, always ready to embrace new ideas and technologies." As they moved on to the next phase of the tour, Zaxxon couldn't shake the feeling that he had underestimated the humans. Their resourcefulness and adaptability were qualities that he had rarely encountered in his conquests, and he began to wonder if Earth might prove to be a greater challenge than he had anticipated. But the true depths of human ingenuity were yet to be revealed, and Zaxxon's journey through West Point was far from over. In the Academy's research and development labs, he would soon discover just how far the humans had come in their quest to unlock the secrets of the universe and secure their place among the stars. The tour of West Point led Zaxxon to the Academy's cutting-edge research and development labs, where the boundaries of human knowledge were being pushed to their limits. As he entered the sprawling facility, the alien commander was struck by the sheer scale and complexity of the projects underway. General Hawkins guided Zaxxon through a maze of workstations and testing chambers, each one dedicated to a different field of study. From advanced propulsion systems to next-generation weaponry, the humans were leaving no stone unturned in their quest for technological supremacy. But what truly caught Zaxxon's eye was a section of the lab devoted to the study of alien technology. There, he saw human scientists and engineers working to reverse-engineer captured extraterrestrial devices, dissecting them piece by piece to uncover their secrets. "I see you've been busy," Zaxxon remarked, his tone a mix of surprise and grudging respect. "I had no idea your species had made such strides in understanding our technology." Hawkins nodded, a hint of pride in his voice. "We may be new to the galactic stage, Commander, but we are quick learners. Our brightest minds have been working tirelessly to level the playing field and ensure that humanity can stand tall among the stars." As Zaxxon examined the various projects underway, he found himself increasingly impressed by the human scientific acumen. They were not just copying alien technology, but improving upon it, finding ways to integrate it with their own unique innovations. One project in particular caught his attention, a prototype starship that seemed to incorporate elements of both human and alien design. Its sleek, aerodynamic hull was unlike anything Zaxxon had ever seen, and he could only imagine the capabilities it might possess. "Tell me, General," Zaxxon said, unable to hide his curiosity, "what is the purpose of this vessel?" Hawkins smiled enigmatically. "That, Commander, is our most ambitious project yet. We call it the Phoenix, and it represents the culmination of everything we've learned from our encounters with alien civilizations. When completed, it will be the most advanced ship in our fleet, capable of taking on any challenge the universe can throw at us." Zaxxon felt a chill run down his spine as he contemplated the implications of the humans' rapid technological advancement. In a matter of decades, they had gone from a primitive, planet-bound species to one on the cusp of becoming a true interstellar power. The thought was both exhilarating and deeply unsettling. As he continued his tour of the R&D labs, Zaxxon couldn't shake the feeling that he was witnessing the birth of a new era in galactic history. The humans, once dismissed as mere upstarts, were proving themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, and he knew that the repercussions of their rise would be felt far beyond the confines of their own solar system. As Zaxxon's tour of West Point reached its climax, the alien commander found himself in the midst of a series of intense war simulations designed to test the cadets' mettle in the face of overwhelming odds. The scenarios were unlike anything Zaxxon had ever encountered, pitting the humans against a variety of hypothetical alien adversaries with vastly superior technology and numbers. At first, Zaxxon was skeptical of the cadets' chances of success. The odds seemed stacked against them, and he couldn't help but feel a twinge of pity for the young warriors who were about to face such daunting challenges. But as the simulations unfolded, Zaxxon found himself increasingly awestruck by the cadets' ingenuity and sheer determination. They refused to be intimidated by the simulated alien forces, instead adapting their tactics on the fly and exploiting every weakness they could find. In one particularly grueling scenario, a squad of cadets found themselves surrounded by a horde of robotic drones, each one armed with advanced weapons that could cut through their armor like butter. Rather than panicking or surrendering, the cadets worked together to create a makeshift electromagnetic pulse device that disabled the drone's circuitry, allowing them to turn the tables on their attackers. In another simulation, a cadet named Lieutenant Jack Hansen displayed exceptional bravery when he single-handedly held off a platoon of simulated alien shock troops, buying time for his comrades to evacuate a group of wounded civilians. Hansen's selfless act left Zaxxon speechless, and he found himself wondering if he had ever witnessed such heroism among his own kind. As the war games reached their conclusion, Zaxxon couldn't help but feel a newfound respect for the human cadets. Their ability to think outside the box and push themselves beyond their limits was unlike anything he had ever seen, and he began to understand why General Hawkins had spoken of them with such pride. "Your cadets are truly remarkable, General," Zaxxon said as they watched the final simulation wind down. "Their courage and resourcefulness are a credit to your species." Hawkins nodded, his eyes shining with emotion. "They are the best of us, Commander. They represent the indomitable spirit of humanity, and I have no doubt that they will be the ones to lead us into the future, no matter what challenges lie ahead." As Zaxxon prepared to leave the simulation center, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had just witnessed something truly extraordinary. The human cadets had proven themselves to be more than mere soldiers. They were innovators, problem solvers, and true heroes in every sense of the word. And yet, even as he marveled at their accomplishments, Zaxxon couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. For if the humans could achieve such feats in mere simulations, what might they be capable of in the face of a real threat? The thought was both exhilarating and deeply troubling. And Zaxxon knew that he would need to reassess his plans for Earth in light of what he had learned. Just as Zaxxon was about to leave West Point, an urgent alarm pierced the air. At first, he assumed it was merely another drill, but the look of genuine concern on General Hawkins' face told him otherwise. "Commander Zaxxon," Hawkins said, his voice tense, "I'm afraid we have a real emergency on our hands. Our sensors have detected an unauthorized alien vessel entering Earth's atmosphere, and it appears to be heading straight for the Academy." Zaxxon's eyes widened in surprise. He knew that Earth had no shortage of enemies among the stars, but he had never expected an attack to come so swiftly or so brazenly. Part of him was tempted to intervene, to use his own ship's superior firepower to swat the intruders from the sky. But another part of him, the ruthless tactician who had conquered countless worlds, saw this as a rare opportunity to observe the humans in action, to see how they would respond to a genuine threat. As alarms continued to blare and cadets rushed to their battle stations, Zaxxon followed Hawkins to the Academy's command center. There, they watched in tense silence as the alien ship descended from the clouds, its sleek, predatory shape unlike anything Zaxxon had ever seen. Moments later, the intruders made their move. A barrage of energy weapons slammed into the Academy's perimeter, shattering force fields and sending chunks of molten metal flying in all directions. Zaxxon could hear the screams of cadets and instructors alike as they scrambled to mount a defense, and he felt a strange mix of admiration and pity for the brave souls who were about to face an enemy they could scarcely comprehend. As the battle raged on, Zaxxon watched in fascination as the humans fought back with every weapon at their disposal. They launched drones and manned fighters to engage the alien ship directly, while ground teams worked to evacuate civilians and secure key installations. It was a chaotic, desperate struggle, but Zaxxon could see the cadets' training and discipline shining through even in the midst of the maelstrom. And yet, for all their bravery and skill, the humans were clearly outmatched. The alien ship seemed to shrug off their attacks like raindrops, its advanced shields and weapons cutting through the Academy's defenses with terrifying ease. Zaxxon knew that it was only a matter of time before the invaders breached the perimeter and began their assault in earnest. As he watched the battle unfold, Zaxxon found himself torn between his desire to see the humans triumph and his own instincts as a conqueror. Part of him wanted to see Earth's defenders emerge victorious, to prove to the galaxy that they were a force to be reckoned with. But another part of him, the part that had driven him to subjugate countless worlds, saw this as an opportunity to learn from the invaders, to study their tactics and technologies for his own benefit. And so, as the alien ship finally broke through the Academy's defenses and began to disgorge its troops, Zaxxon steeled himself for the carnage that was to come. He knew that the next few hours would be critical, not just for the fate of West Point, but for the future of Earth itself. And he was determined to be there, to witness every moment of it, no matter how brutal or terrifying it might be. As the alien invaders poured into the heart of West Point, Zaxxon watched in awe as the human cadets and their instructors mounted a fierce counterattack. Gone was any semblance of panic or despair, in its place was a grim determination, a resolve to fight to the last breath in defense of their home and their people. Leading the charge was none other than Lieutenant Arya Novak, the brilliant young cadet who had so impressed Zaxxon during the wargame simulations. With a rallying cry that echoed across the battlefield, Novak led her fellow cadets in a daring flanking maneuver, using the Academy's terrain to their advantage as they sought to outmaneuver the alien forces. Beside her was Lieutenant Jack Hansen, the hero who had single-handedly held off a platoon of simulated shock troops. Now, faced with a real enemy, Hansen proved himself to be even more fearless and resourceful than before. Armed with a prototype weapon reverse-engineered from captured alien technology, he waded into the thick of the fighting, taking down dozens of enemy soldiers with each devastating blast. As the battle raged on, Zaxxon found himself marveling at the humans' bravery and selflessness. He saw cadets throwing themselves into the line of fire to protect their wounded comrades, instructors using their own bodies as shields to cover the retreat of civilians. It was a display of heroism unlike anything Zaxxon had ever witnessed, and he felt a strange sense of humility in the face of such unwavering courage. But even as the humans fought with every ounce of strength and skill they possessed, Zaxxon could see that the tide was turning against them. The alien invaders seemed to have an endless supply of reinforcements, and their advanced weapons were taking a heavy toll on the defenders. Novak and Hansen fought valiantly, but even they could not stem the tide alone. Just when all seemed lost, however, Zaxxon noticed something strange. The alien soldiers, who had been pressing their attack with ruthless efficiency, suddenly seemed to falter. They hesitated, as if unsure of their next move. And then, to Zaxxon's amazement, they began to retreat. At first, Zaxxon couldn't understand what had happened. But then he saw Novak, standing tall amidst the carnage, holding a strange device in her hands. It was a communication array, he realized, one that she had jury-rigged from the wreckage of a downed alien fighter. And with it, she had managed to tap into the invaders' network, to sow confusion and disarray among their ranks. It was a brilliant move, one that Zaxxon himself might have made in her place. And as he watched the alien forces fall back in disarray, he felt a surge of admiration for the young cadet who had turned the tide of battle through sheer ingenuity and force of will. In that moment, Zaxxon realized that he had been wrong about the humans. They were not weak, or primitive, or unworthy of respect. They were a species of warriors, of innovators, and survivors, and they would stop at nothing to defend their home and their way of life. And as the dust began to settle over the battlefield, Zaxxon knew that he had witnessed something truly extraordinary. He had seen the best of humanity in action, had watched them stare down an enemy that should have been their doom and emerge victorious against all odds. It was a humbling experience, one that would stay with him for the rest of his days. In the aftermath of the fierce battle, the cadets and instructors of West Point regrouped to assess the situation. The alien invaders had been repelled, but at a terrible cost. The Academy lay in ruins, its once pristine buildings and facilities reduced to smoking rubble. And yet, even in the face of such devastation, the human spirit remained unbroken. Zaxxon watched as they tended to their wounded, mourned their dead, and began the long, arduous process of rebuilding. It was a testament to their resilience, to their unwavering commitment to their ideals and to each other. As the days passed, Zaxxon found himself spending more and more time among the humans, observing their efforts to recover from the attack. He marveled at their ingenuity as they salvaged what they could from the wreckage, repurposing damaged equipment and vehicles to create makeshift defenses and shelters. But even as they worked tirelessly to rebuild, the cadets never lost sight of their greater mission. They knew that the alien invaders would not give up so easily, that they would undoubtedly return with even greater force. And so, under the leadership of Lieutenant Novak and Lieutenant Hansen, they began to plan their next move. It was a daring plan, one that would require every ounce of courage and skill they possessed. They would take the fight to the enemy, mounting a surprise attack on the invaders' stronghold using a combination of human and alien technology. Zaxxon, who had once scoffed at the idea of humans standing against the might of a galactic empire, found himself drawn into their plans. He offered his own insights and tactical knowledge, working alongside Novak and Hansen to refine their strategy. In the days that followed the humans' stunning victory over the alien invaders, Zaxxon found himself deep in thought. He had come to Earth expecting to find a primitive, easily conquered species, one that would pose little challenge to his own vast empire. Instead, he had encountered a people of extraordinary courage and resilience, a species that had not only survived against impossible odds but had actually emerged stronger and more united than ever before. As he prepared to depart West Point and return to his own people, Zaxxon knew that he could not simply forget what he had witnessed. The humans had shown him a different way of being, a path of cooperation and mutual respect that stood in stark contrast to the brutal, militaristic culture of his own kind. And so, in a gesture that stunned all who witnessed it, Zaxxon approached the leaders of West Point and made a startling offer. He would share with them the secrets of his own people's technology, would help them to build a fleet of ships and weapons that would make them the equals of any species in the galaxy. In return, he asked only one thing: that the humans use their newfound power not to conquer and subjugate, but to create a new era of peace and understanding among the stars. It was a moment that would go down in history as a turning point in the relationship between humans and aliens. For the first time, two species had come together not as enemies, but as allies, united by a common goal of progress and prosperity. As Zaxxon boarded his ship and prepared to depart, he took one last look at the humans who had changed his life forever. He saw in them a reflection of his own people's potential, a glimpse of what they could become if they only had the courage to embrace a different path. And as he watched the Earth recede into the distance, he knew that he would carry the lessons he had learned at West Point with him for the rest of his days. He had come to this world seeking conquest, but he had found something far greater, a new understanding of what it meant to be truly alive. In the years that followed, the alliance between humans and Zaxxon's people would grow and flourish, bringing a new era of discovery and enlightenment to the galaxy. And though the challenges they faced were many, they would always remember the example set by the brave cadets of West Point, who had shown them that anything was possible when individuals of courage and conviction stood together as one. The incident at the Academy would become a turning point in interstellar relations, a moment when two vastly different cultures found common ground and forged a bond that would endure for generations. And though the road ahead was long and uncertain, all who had witnessed those fateful events knew that they had been a part of something truly extraordinary. For in the end, the greatest lesson that Zaxxon and the humans had learned was a simple one. That true strength lay not in conquest or domination, but in the power of unity, compassion, and the indomitable spirit of those who dared to dream of a better tomorrow. It was a lesson that would guide them as they ventured out into the stars, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, together.